Weather Rate Certified 7 years in a row.
Welcome back to ABC4 News Midday. We're at Midday Weather School, Granger Elementary. We have some fourth grade classes, right? All right. We've got this side of the room, Mr. Walker and Mr. Del Bosca. Did I get that correct? Del Bosca. And Miss It Right, they were the ones we said earlier. So let me tell you, we've had some really good listeners today. And it was the first time we kind of were able to as I say, crowdsource what we talked about here today. So what won out today? What was the subject that we just covered here a little bit ago? What was that? What's your name?
Alexis.
Alexis, what was the subject we just covered talking about here?
Snow.
Snow. So who can tell me? Let's crowdsource this again. Who is listening so very carefully? Are we expecting a good snow this winter? A not good snow? Maybe an average snow. Who goes for maybe an average snow? Who goes for not much snow? Who goes for we might have a pretty good snow this winter? All right. I think those who have their hands up might be correct. And when I say might be correct, because we're using the power of another subject to make that forecast. That was the other big thing that we just talked about too, right? As we talked about the first subject that I asked the other side of the classroom, which was science and weather. But there was another subject that helps me with the forecast and determines the probabilities and the likelihood that we're going to get something to happen. Let's see. This gentleman over here. What's your name?
Robert.
Robert. So what is that subject that we really need to study hard to tell us, are we going to get a snowy winter or not? It's the probabilities, and it uses
Cell phone.
No, that's how we're sending the signal, but it's the subject. We talked about science, but this subject is another one that I studied. I got my minor of it. What's your name?
My name is Betsy.
Betsy, so what is that other subject that we need to study hard to know the probabilities?
Math.
That's exactly right. So the math, the power of statistics is huge in meteorology. And the forecast I give to you right now and telling you, is it going to rain? Is it going to snow? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to be hot? Everything that comes into us is a lot of times comes in the form of numbers and math and statistics. And the going forecast right now is actually, I don't know, it could be hidden, but we have a graphic that is up on the wall. If Mr. Yulberg here and Mr. John can show us, that is a map giving us the winter outlook for the probabilities of precipitation in Utah is in a zone where there could be above average precipitation, and it's mainly for southern Utah. So that would be good news for Eagle Point and Bryan Head. Eagle Point opens up next Friday. Bryan Head's already open. And we've already gotten good snow here in northern Utah. Do you know how much snow we got yesterday up at Alta Ski Resort in Brighton? Does anybody have any idea of how much snow we got? Do you have a guess?
A lot.
That's a pretty good guess. I would say a good amount. I would say it's a pretty good snow, but who can throw out a number? Who you want to guess the number? How much?
About like 4 or 5 inches.
They got more than that. They got about upwards of a foot. They got 12 and 14 inches. Alta got a foot. Brighton got about 14, if I remember my numbers correctly. And that's what things are about. So the little rule of thumb here is if we want to go and study meteorology, anybody interested in weather? Anyone on here might want to do weather? Cool. I love Granger Elementary. We got a lot of weather lovers here. It's going to be math and science. It's going to be our two best subjects. Who wants to know what the weather's going to do this weekend? A few of us. Okay. Let's find out what the weather's going to do this weekend. And why don't you watch Mr. Yulberg over here, because he's the one that's got you on TV right now while I do the boring weather. Okay. JD Byrider, downtown Cam. Some of the best news is the cleaner air is here. There's a look at the blue skies that are here and maybe a few high in the sky clouds. The air quality is great. It's good today, and it's going to continue to be good. Now, those real-time temperatures, we're still cold. That's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. We've been in a cold pattern. Gosh, ever since we got to November, we've been cold and freezing temperatures and morning temperatures, teens and 20s. There's a look at where we are across at least the local area in the Wasatch Front, but a look across the region, there's a look at temperatures right now. And I expect some areas like southern Utah to be not that bad. We're going to warm into the 40s and some 50s here today. Let's look ahead at the weather features that are making our weather here today, and they're pretty calm and pretty quiet. And the pretty calm and quiet conditions means something else happens, where we get this what we call the inversion, a temperature inversion, or an inversion layer. That means the air quality doesn't get as great. So the only thing that really comes our way is a weak cold front Friday night into Saturday. You just saw those clouds that roll by, but I don't think we do much with that. Central and southern Utah, we're going to find at least some sunny to mostly sunny skies. You can find that same front coming in Friday night over to Saturday, but it's not such strong enough front that it should keep the air kind of clean and pristine. Only thing that we're worried about, and this is what we went through in the last week. How was the air here at Granger? Was the air really good here in the past week? No. I see the air was the thumbs down for us, and it was. It was not that great. Unfortunately, the going forecast has, with quiet conditions such as these, that the going forecast could be that it's not going to be as good, and the air gets a little bit worse heading into the weekend. For St. George, the weekend weather actually looks good. We could be closer to 60 degrees this weekend in sunnier skies. Wasatch Front Salt Lake 7-day forecast. We've got these temperatures that just stay chilly. Mid-30s today, mid to upper 30s tomorrow. Maybe around 40 over the weekend, but the big news is there hardly is anything coming our way, with the exception of the air quality that goes a little bit poor. It could be yellow, moderate, maybe even orange. Okay, Granger Elementary, I need your help real quick before we go. At ABC4 News, we like to also say we're good for Utah. So on the count of 3, can you all say good for Utah and wave goodbye for us? Okay, so here from Granger Elementary's 4th grade classes here on ABC4 Utah Midday, we are 1, 2, 3.